Coming up this week, should new immigrants to Canada be screened for Canadian values? Also, is it time to do away with daylight savings? This and much more to come. Hitting the streets, this is Outburst. Hello and welcome to Outburst. I'm Glenn McGuinness. Well, federal Conservative leadership candidate Kelly Leitch put the idea forward some time ago to screen newcomers to Canada for Canadian values, which consists of a face-to-face interview with a trained immigration officer. While this idea has received a lot of opposition, not all Canadians are against the approach. So we took the topic to you. Our question: should immigrants to Canada be screened for Canadian values?
The Kelly Leitch thing? No.
Why not?
Well, it's a thinly veiled, let's just say where she's going with that isn't the right place. I mean, the process that Canada has for immigration is the envy of the world. I think it's running really well, and I don't really think we need to change it based on Canadian values, if that's what you want to call it.
For Canadian values, that's tough, because what are Canadian values? Canadian values are made up of immigrant values. I don't know.
So you don't want to see...
I don't think there should be... No, I think it makes us who we are to have a blend of all of those values.
No, I don't think so. I think that Canadian values, that's not something you can really learn in another country. That's something that when you're here, you gain those values. I'm born in Canada. I could have been born in Europe, and my values, they're not really developed until you really live in a place. So it's pretty hard to screen someone for something like that. That's just depending on where you grew up.
Tough question. Perhaps, yes. I think there's, as Canadians, we certainly value certain things, and I'm not sure we should screen them per se, but I think we should at least acknowledge that what those values are, and ensure that if they don't have those values, that at least they're educated on those particular values as well.
Absolutely. I don't think, it's hard to say screened in which way, but it has to be one of the requirements that when they move here, they have to be ready to embrace Canadian culture and Canadian values for sure. I don't know how strictly it has to be reinforced, but it is, in my opinion, it has to be reinforced.
That's a good question. Yeah, I do, and respect the Canadian way. We're very proud to be Canadian. We're a completely open environment where we welcome anybody, but absolutely they should be open to accepting us for the way we live, perhaps not the way they live, and bringing their cultures to us.
I'm not even sure what Canadian values are, so I think the answer is no. I think immigrants or anyone who wants to be a newcomer to this country should be screened for some basic things, but I'm not sure how you would even assess Canadian values.
I don't think they should formally be screened whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think we can learn a lot from immigrants about their values that we could also incorporate into our system. I think things like normal screening, like criminal record checks and those kinds of things, obviously. But no, I don't think we should have any kind of screening tool for that.
Yes, I think they should be screened because, they're coming here and they're taking jobs from people that they should be looked at first before the immigrants come along and, take over jobs from the people that need jobs here.
Well, I don't know what the screening process is entirely. But if it's just kind of asking them how they feel about certain things, then definitely. If you're not on board with how we want to respect our women and how we want to respect each other and kind of follow the lead, so to speak, then honestly, you're not welcome in Canada.
I think it's important to make sure that everyone coming into Canada does have the same values as us, but I also think it's important to welcome all these newcomers because they're coming from these awful situations that we have no idea about, and Actually, just last month, we had a protest here for Islamophobia, and I was here at that, and like it totally changed my opinion and perspective on immigrants, and like they were telling all these stories and all the rough stuff so many of them have been through. So it's so important that we welcome them with open arms, I think.
That's great. Anyway, what do you think?
I totally agree with what she said, because everyone is coming from different areas with different stories, so we definitely can't judge them on that. But if they are deciding to come to Canada, they definitely have done research and known to choose Canada, so they definitely would have to believe in our values in order to want to come here and be a part of it.
Well, just tell us.
Well, I just feel that, you know, immigrants, they're coming in to Canada and there's a specific need. They're not just leaving their country because they want to, they're leaving their country because they have to most of the time. So I just find that it's terrible what's gone on, especially since the elections in the States, and that we're getting so much more discrimination, and I just think it's total against humanity.
Refugees and immigrants that are coming to Canada, I feel that they're coming to Canada for the right reasons, and they're coming here to have a better life and to find a better life for their families and their generations of families that are coming after them.
What is the only province that doesn't have a fixed election date? BC, Nova Scotia, or Alberta?
Definitely Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia, I guess.
Alberta?
Alberta.
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 I think it's Nova Scotia. I'm not really good to pronounce.
It's Nova Scotia.
Yeah!
Nova Scotia is the only Canadian province which does not have a fixed date for provincial elections. The Trudeau government's Economic Advisory Council has suggested retirement age in Canada be moved from age 65 to 67. This contradicts a move by the Liberals to reverse a decision by the former Harper government to push the retirement age back 2 years. So, what do you think? Our question: should Canada's retirement age be raised to 67?
Well, that's a good question. Because, you know, one person can be as able in their 70s as some people are in their 40s. I guess that at this point in time, we're looking at raising the retirement age in order to try to enable the pension funds to remain sustainable. That's not a good reason. But however, the more and more as I look as people are working, and especially if they're public servants, either federally or provincially, and people are saying they're tired. So raising the age and having people that are retired in their 50s, 55, and forced them to continue till they're 67 or 70, I mean, it's kind of defeats the purpose. If you want to have some really good quality services and so on, you need to have people that are interested, committed to their job, and also healthy that can do it.
Yes and no. If they feel that they're at that age of retirement, they should be able to retire when they want to. Upping it just prolongs the poor condition of the health of the people. So it should be up to the individual whether they want to retire at 65 or wait till they're 67.
Well, yeah, 67 is a long time away, but 2 years wouldn't be that long to me in the long run. If you still work and can work, I would keep going, because once you retire, it's a long time of doing nothing. But if you can work, I would, but it's very situational. Depends on how much someone can keep going.
Any thoughts on that?
I also agree it's situational. Like, most people can't afford to retire at the age of 65. Not everyone has pensions, and not everyone has the opportunity to do that. Like most people, like a lot of people work until the day that they die or the day they can't do it anymore, just because they can't afford to stop. So
Yes, why not? The population is healthier than it used to be 50 years back. People are able to work to 70. And retirement is a psychological negative situation for a person's health. You retire, that means today you are very important, tomorrow you're redundant. I mean, in fact, people should be allowed to work as long as they're physically and mentally able to do that. 65, 67, why not? Totally agree with it.
No, I don't think that should be raised to 67 from 65, just because I feel that we need to either revamp the system where either the government comes up with a better system on how we can all retire equally. You know, right now there's a disconnect between boomer retirement and youth retirement on whether I'll ever be able to retire or whether I'll have to work until, you know, in my 70s or whatnot. But I don't feel that they necessarily need to raise the retirement age to fix that. I just feel that it's more of a society needs to change to ensure that retirement is something that everybody should be able to do equally.
I say no because I'm almost there. Realistically, I don't know if you can change something midstream like that. You'd have to really look at CPP and how it's working with the demographics. You know, maybe have people who are under 18, if you want to start them at the 67, but I think people that enter the workforce with a certain understanding of when they can retire and how and with what benefits, I don't think you could really mess with that midstream.
Definitely not.
Why not?
When you're older, it's a time to enjoy life and have fun. My father was able to retire at 48. He's living a dream. He's now 63, and that's my long-term goal is 50. 67's too old. Doesn't give you time to enjoy your life. You're just working the whole time.
I don't think so. I got about 15 years left, so I don't really want to wait till 67. So, you know, if I can afford to retire at 65, I'm going to do it.
People are living longer and longer right now. I mean, modern medicine's improved the amount of years we're living to. So I'm not a big fan of current pension systems, realizing that people, if they can retire at 65 and collect a full pension, there's a good chance they're going to live another 20, 25 years. And I think in the past, pensions were developed so that, you know, taking into consideration people are probably going to live to, you know, early 70s, so you're only really going to need 5-6 years of support. So now with longevity increasing, I think that working age should also increase.
I think people work hard, and their golden years should be their golden years, and anything beyond that is just far too much to expect, in my opinion.
Yes. Just we're living longer, we're healthier, we're working longer, and if we don't raise it, then there's more people who could be working who we're supporting through our whatever CPP, etc.
I'm not sure why we would want to raise the age to 67, other than that it benefits the government with respect to being able to control when it spends money. I think that's a difficult pill for people to swallow who've been planning for a certain eventuality, only to find out later that they're actually going to have to work longer. So I think that's difficult, and the government should be very careful about doing that.
No.
Why is that?
Because I'm just about 65. And I don't want them to take it away from me.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah, so honest answer.
What is the only province with boundaries not formed by geography? Manitoba, PEI, or Saskatchewan?
Manitoba.
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 PEI. It's an island. I think it's Saskatchewan.
I'd say Saskatchewan.
I'm gonna go with PEI.
The answer? Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Very good. The province of Saskatchewan is the only Canadian province with entirely artificial borders. If an NDP MLA in Alberta has his way, time will be running out for daylight savings in his province. Charles Dang says Albertans are ready to stop changing their clocks. Premier Rachel Notley also chimed in, saying she thinks it's a good idea. Other parts of Canada are also considering doing away with it. So, once again, we take the topic to you. Our question: should daylight savings time be eliminated?
It's a tough one. If you have kids, sometimes you say yes, sometimes you say no. But I think if you look at it, for the amount of inconvenience that it is, I think, I mean, I enjoy long summer nights on the patio and that kind of thing, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, probably. I don't really see a lot of benefit to it.
Does the time change mess you up?
No, It doesn't mess me up, but I don't see the advantage of having more sun in the morning or in the evening at certain times of day. I think it just is what it is, and we should just deal with it.
It seems good the way it is. Do we need that extra, do we need a later, I would like to see a little bit later light in the winter, but would that do it, or would that have the reverse effect? I don't know. So, yeah, you might want to ask somebody who has knowledge of that.
Being from Saskatchewan, yes. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but some people here are, so.
Does the time change mess you up?
A little bit, yeah, and I just don't like the idea of having to change all my clocks in the house, so. Convenience.
For me, it's good because if the saving time is every season the same hour, more is darkness to the home. People come to the home very darkness. I know it's good because we can enjoy one more light.
Absolutely doesn't matter to me. On both ways, I'm okay. I think if you were to standardize it, probably would be the best thing. I see certain provinces have it, certain provinces don't. At least as a country, if we could standardize on one, that would be preferential.
Our bodies are not designed to handle such a dramatic up and down changes, and it's unnatural.
So you like to see it gone?
I like to see it gone. I like to have the same time all the time. Yeah, I'm pretty much prefer to have more light in the evening than in the morning.
No, I do not think that daylight saving time should be eliminated.
Why is that?
I feel like if Alberta eliminates daylight savings time, it would put us out of step with so many other provinces. I don't really buy the excuse that people can't adjust to 1 hour. If people can travel to different provinces or go and travel, period, they have to adjust to 1 hour. We have a long time to adjust. It's only 1 hour, and we get beautiful long summer days as a result.
I think the people who are most affected by daylight savings time should be the ones who make that decision. As a retired person, I love long days, but if I was a farmer or I was working in the outdoors and that length of time span meant something, then I would be the ones that I would hope would be consulted on that. Yeah, so I can live with long sunny days no matter what, yeah.
Daylight savings time is useless. It was created by banks, if I'm not mistaken, to basically regulate like their business, and it's got nothing to do with farmers. It's got nothing to do with anything aside from money. And honestly, like my kid, he's going to bed at the same time as he was before, but now he's really cranky all of a sudden, and we had to put it together. Like daylight savings time was the cause of this, and so it kind of really just messes up small things in my daily life, and there's in my opinion there's no point.
Yes, I do. We're actually 3 geomatics students, so we kind of know how world works and all that fun stuff, but it would definitely, if we took it out and it was just Canada, it would screw up a lot of stuff, because I know we obviously are very close to the States and we work very close with them, so if they didn't take out daylight savings, then it would just be a big mess. Yeah.
I mean, I would say just get rid of it, either move it ahead. I mean, it always seems a bit weird too, because the time of year where I want the extra hour of sunlight is winter, which is when daylight savings time isn't happening anyway. So it just seems, just pick when you want noon to be relative to the sun and leave it. It doesn't matter that much anymore. At least computers are getting better at figuring it out, but I always know it was a nightmare. In a job I used to have, I had to schedule a lot with people all across North America and the US, and then there'd be, we're in daylight savings time, but this guy's in Arizona, but he's in part of Arizona that doesn't see daylight savings time, and trying to figure out meetings is just a nightmare. So
Absolutely. I think that this change of time is not being productive at all for anyone, because people take time to readjust and so on and so forth. So, if you're a morning person, maybe you like to have a time change. If you're not, that's the other issue. So I think just leave the time the way it is, so those bodies can kind of just stay stable unless they go visit other countries that have a different time.
In the first place, why did daylight saving came in? Had we not survived before? Price of oil, energy, saving energy, it will keep going up and down. So every time it goes too high, we again change. It goes too low, we again change. It should be standard with the world, global. Let us practice the global norms.
I think we should get rid of it. I enjoy standard time. I sleep better on standard time, and I mean, I know the aspect was to have more daylight at the end of the day, to have a longer day at the end of the day, but I get up at the crack of dawn anyway, so I enjoy my mornings more than my evenings. So.
Canada's youth unemployment rate stood at 12.40% in the month of February of this year. For young people trying to get their foot in the door in today's workforce, that can be daunting enough, and they need experience, which is tough to do without a job. So we took our final question to Canadians. What is the best way to improve youth unemployment in Canada?
Oh, that's a really tricky one. I think it needs to be more youth unemployment. Maybe it needs to be more available. You know, like more programs offered to get people encouraged and easier outlets. It's hard to find a job when you're a kid, right? I don't really know.
Do you think that there should be incentives for employers too to hire you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And to even internships, things like that, to get you kicked off.
Other than create better conditions for the economy, which is tough, then I guess the government can really just reinstitute some of the programs they've had in the past, like youth hires, and which it's a partial subsidy, I guess, but you know, that's probably going to have the quickest effect if we're saying that youth unemployment is bad and needs to be improved.
Stimulate the economy, you know, just get job growth. I mean, right now most youth are probably employed in positions like retail or customer service, and being a laid-off engineer myself right now, I'm looking at jobs like that to find work in the meantime for myself. So if professionals like myself are stuck taking those jobs, obviously the middle class and the high-end jobs aren't really there right now for us. So that kind of has a trickle-down effect on the youth, I'd say.
Better education and guidance for the youth as they're coming out.
What kind of guidance would you like to see?
I think just if you're looking at even university students, I don't think they fully understand what business can provide, opportunities that exist in organizations. So just a better acknowledgement of that.
Oh, that's actually a really good question, because my son is one of those, the young unemployed people. I think they really have to have more resources available to them. I know there is a youth employment center, which is great. They provide resumes and everything, but I think they have to specifically target the employers and provide some incentives for hiring young people, and more training, more targeted training, something like that.
Oh, better education system for sure. Teaching kids to be entrepreneurs, not employees like the academic system does now. Yeah.
Are there any more specific things that you'd like to see?
Just better education programs, systems where we have to develop entrepreneurs without a doubt, and I think that's one of our biggest ways that our public system is deficient. We have to create entrepreneurs, teach them how to make money on their own.
The best way to improve youth unemployment would probably be some more government programs to assist in helping employers actually want to hire youth and subsidize the cost of doing so.
What kind of programs would you like to see? Like what specific, is there any specific thing?
Well, maybe an expansion of the Canada Summer Jobs program. At one point, I know the province also had its own program. I'm not sure if it still does, but certainly making those programs accessible and available to employers and letting people know that they actually exist goes a long way.
Youth unemployment. I think the schools are the root of the cause for you know, lack of employment with the youth, and the reason being is that, like, the courses that they teach, they're dropping all the important things that could teach people, you know, how to grow a garden, how to build their own house, you know, different things like that we used to be able to learn back in, you know, my mother and my father's era. That's gone now. They're doing away with tool shops. They're doing away with home ec. They're doing away with, you know, music, art, things like that. They're kind of fiddling everything down to a basic, well, now you know how to add and subtract, and now you know how to write your name down, so now you can go work at McDonald's. And that's the problem is with the public schooling system. Public schooling system is not getting enough funding, and it's also not getting the correct rhetoric when it comes to how to teach their kids.
Just the past summer, I actually got a job through the SEED program. I'm from a super small village, Chipman, New Brunswick. Probably haven't heard of it. Surprising. Yeah, anyways, there's like nowhere to work for students really other than just the grocery stores, but the SEED program, they had like at least 10 jobs just for students in the village, so it's kind of nice.
Manufacturing. And manufacturing, big boys, good. But it has to be on root level, grass level manufacturing. And manufacturing creates entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs create more this thing. And small manufacturing should be started all over Canada so that linkage industries growth. And with linkage industries, it expands. So employment is self-generating. Today I go in to work for any sort of a small plant, mom and pop show. I learn. I want to do something better tomorrow. I'll create a linkage industry for it. So that's the only way to get the youths employed.
To get young people working, I feel it's also an aspect of where, you know, current businesses need to start trying to hire younger workers, and also even you know, companies that offer internships. They should offer these internships that are paid, so then they can, at least the students can and the youth can stay in these internships longer, based on a salary that they'll be achieving, and then use that to move on to other jobs later on, and then those jobs that they've left are filled by other youth, and then it's just a whole rotating, job channel for a bunch of youths.
Good idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, internships, I mean, it's an easy area, and I mean, youth can get experience, and I mean, that's what businesses need, is that they all are looking for experience, and I mean, youth can't find experience if they can't get a job. And they can't get a job if they're expected to work for free. I mean, you know, it's like a chicken before the egg.
In what year did both Alberta and Saskatchewan join Confederation? 1900, 1905, or 1910?
05.
10. 1905. 1910.
1905.
I think it's 1905.
1905.
It's 1905.
It is.
You got it right.
Yes.
On September 1st, 1905, the provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan became part of Canada. That's all for this episode of Outburst. Like what you see? Well, you can watch more episodes on our website at www.cpac.ca, on our CPAC TV to Go app, and also on our YouTube channel. You can also join the conversation via social media on Twitter and Instagram at CPAC_TV. I'm Glenn McGuinness, and on behalf of all my colleagues at the Cable Public Affairs channel, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.